Hello, Leonidas.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Very good, very good. How about you?
I'm good. Actually, it's good afternoon for you. It's afternoon now.
Yes, it's afternoon for me. Good morning for you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So today, who will be joining the training? Your engineers or? Hello, Isaac.
Yes.
Hi, Steve. Hi, how are you?
Very good, very good. You're driving right now.
Yes, we are out of Athens for some important meetings.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
we just parked in order to join the meeting.
Oh, okay.
Me and Chrysostomos from the sales department. Hi,
Hello,
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Good. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief instruction about the virtual RF machine. And mainly I will be explaining the sales point of virtual RF. And for not today, let us schedule a second training. And I think it will be better that you can have a kind of a model to do the trial, and then I will give you the guide when we do the treatment. So for the virtual RF, is it installed right now, or is it still packed at this moment?
No, it is already in the office unpacked.
Unpacked. Okay, so you have already installed the machine.
Yes, and also we have some questions that we have from the let's say installation.
Okay. So for the installation, what is your questions?
No, not from the installation, but from the screen and the software. Later on, I don't want to bother you from the training.
Okay.
I will ask you later.
Okay. So firstly, what I want to do is since we have distributed Virtue in many different countries, we do see typical errors that our customers make. So I just want to go through those kind of let's say error message first, and then I'll give you an explanation about the difference of virtual RF, smart RF technology. So firstly, let me share this presentation. Give me 1 minute. Okay, so I'll start with this troubleshooting guide of virtual RF. Virtual RF, comparing to Vivace, it has much more updates on the software. So let's say, for instance, Vivace was kind of very analog style. Virtual RF is very digital, which means that most of the conditions are well monitored by the main system. So whichever error happens, it will show up on the user interface saying that there's a problem in here or there. So with the virtual RF, smart RF only, I would like to introduce most typical error that our customer makes worldwide. So this is the user interface of Smart RF. You know that we can change the level of energy. We can change the depths from 0.1 to 3.5, RF time 100 millisecond till 800 millisecond. And this is the different one, which is the sub-pulse mode. We can choose either one continuous wave or split that up to 10 separate pulses. And we do have two different options of frequency, which is 1 megahertz and 2 megahertz. And this auto shot is a thing that we can see on the user interface. For Vivace, if we press the handpiece button for a long time, it goes out with automatic shot. This one, we can choose 3 different options. Off means that we have to press the button each time. Auto mode 1 means that the interval between each shot is 900 milliseconds. And auto shot 2 means that the interval between shots are 1,100 milliseconds. So depending on which intervals the customer prefers, we can choose different intervals. Give me 1 minute, sorry. Sorry for the delay. Somebody just came in
Steve,
to...
yes, Evie from our sales team is on the waiting room. Do you have a free waiting room, or do you need to accept her?
No, if somebody enters this Zoom link,
It's
I can...
automatically.
Yes, automatically. But I
Okay.
still need to press approve, but I don't see anyone in the waiting list right now.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Okay. So yes. So these are the interface, and next is how we attach the tip. So this is one different thing comparing to VivaChat. VivaChat does not have a tip cover, but Smart, our virtual RF, not only Smart, in the future when we have deep RF also, every tip has a tip cover. And the most important thing is that we must place the tip cover while we attach the tip to the handpiece. This is very important. I see one other person joining the room right now.
Yes, it is George. George is our sales person that we have, and he's communicating with the beauticians.
Okay.
Also. Mainly he's related to the beauticians. So
Okay.
I will have one more person, also Tassos. Just to introduce them to you, Steve. Tassos is the salesperson that we have, and he covers the North Greece mainly area.
North Greece, okay, North Greece.
Both in doctors and beauticians. And unfortunately, Evie is trying to enter, but she hasn't managed yet. Anyway, you can continue the presentation.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Good to see your sales representatives. Okay, so
That's a quick question. I'm sorry. Auto 2, Auto 1 is almost 1 hertz, 900 milliseconds, the repetition rate. Auto 2, could you please remind us? It's 2 hertz.
1,100 milliseconds, the interval.
Okay, so actually both of them are plus minus 1 hertz. The repetition rate, because it's written on the next on the slide on the notes, 500 and 600. If you go back, please, Steve, in the previous slides.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what you mean. The auto mode 1 and 2.
Go back 1 slide, please, because I didn't manage to write an information about the auto here. Auto 1, you said is 900 milliseconds, every 900. So that means it's almost 1 hertz. Every 1 second is passing.
Yes.
Auto 2 is 500.
No, 1,100. This one is not updated yet. I'm sorry about the presentation.
So I don't understand. Auto 1 is 900 milliseconds, and the Auto 2 is 1,100 milliseconds?
1,100 milliseconds. That is the duration between each shot, so the interval. So if you say
they are
very close. Let's say it's not like 0.5 hertz. Let's say 500 milliseconds.
yes,
2 hertz, 500 milliseconds, or for example 1 hertz, 1,000 milliseconds. Here we talk about 900 and 1,100. So how come it's so close? It's almost the same, Auto 1 and Auto 2. Maybe it's 500 and 1,000?
No. It's like only 200 millisecond difference, because this is based on our doctor's opinion, because some doctors, they prefer to use it manually. They just press the button each time. Some doctors, they prefer 900 milliseconds. Some doctors, they prefer a little bit slower one. So that's the reason why we have done this. But on the our engineering mode, we can change this interval as well. So depending on which interval we want to use, we can change the interval time for the Auto 1 and Auto 2 as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So this is very, very important. As I have told you, virtual RF tip has tip cover. So we always have to place the tip on top while we attach to the handpiece. Because otherwise, if we don't put on the cover and then attach to the handpiece, the structure itself is a little bit different than Vivace. So the needles will be popped out if we don't put on the cover. Then what happens if we don't put on the tip cover is that we always will find this kind of recognition error. If we see here, it says no tip recognition. So almost every time when I get a report that the customer says that the tip is not recognized, mostly it is this kind of problem. So when we do the initial installation to our customers, it is very, very important that we always mention to them that the tip cover should be on top of the tip, then attached to the handpiece. And the second reason why this is important is that if we see the handpiece, there are 8 pogo pins. So the upper line is data line and the bottom line is the RF output line. And the tip also has the direction. We say it as a guide. If you see here, there's a red arrow on the tip. So we always have to match the arrow on the handpiece and the tip, then turn it clockwise. So the reason why we do this is that we need to match the data line and the RF output line on the handpiece with the data line and RF output line on the tip as well. Because sometimes if we force to attach the tip on the handpiece without using the guide, still, if we push it in, it can be connected. But since the data line and output line is different, it will cause miscommunication, plus sometimes burn on the handpiece, which means heat. So we always have to follow the tip guide to match the arrows and then turn it clockwise. So far, do you have any other inquiries about the tips?
Yes, Steve, I would like to ask you something.
Yes.
Is it when we change the tip, since we have those pins that transfer messages, signals, data signals, do you have to aware the system to be closed, to be off, or it doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter.
When we
It
change
doesn't
the
matter.
tip,
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
No.
Even though when we turn on the handpiece, turn on the device, and if we touch the pogo pin on the handpiece with our hands, fingers, is still okay, because there's no kind of those kind of risk. But the only problem, the only thing that we have to keep in mind always is that, number one, we put on the tip cover. Number two, we always use the tip guide to connect the tip to the handpiece. Those two are the only and the most important thing that we have to keep in mind when we connect to the handpiece.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So these are the typical error that we face using virtual RF. Well, of course, if there's no power, if the machine is not coming on, we need to check the cable, we need to check the electricity and those kind of things, which is not a big problem. When we turn on the machine, we will see that the machine itself, there is an LED light on the edge in front, and those lights will be changing. That means that the power is sufficiently supplying to the machine. And then also like VivaChat, the main screen button, there will be a blue light coming on the button. So that means that power is okay. And if we press that main screen button, the LCD screen should come up. But if it doesn't come up, it means that there might be something wrong with the connection with LCD to the device. So I'll show you how we check the LCD on back of the slide. Number 3 is SD card recognition problem. So whenever you see this kind of error code 15, SD card is disconnected, we also need to check the SD card. An SD card is inserted in the LCD panel. So I'll show you on behind how we check the LCD panel. No RF energy means that if the clients or when we do a clinical trial, if we don't feel the RF output, we also need to check the RF output of the handpiece. But so far, ever since we have distributed more than 3,000 units around the world with Virtue, we haven't encountered this kind of problem yet. The main and most frequent things that we face is this communication error. Not only the handpiece, but the virtual RF is a system which the main device communicates with 3 different handpieces. Right now, we only have smart RF, so the main device will be communicating with smart RF and also the smart RF tip. And those are all automatically detected by one another. So when you put on a tip on, when we connect a tip on smart RF, depending on whether it is insulated or non-insulated, it will be shown on the user interface that this is insulated. Or if we connect non-insulated, it will show that it is non-insulated, something like that. So it's digitally communicating each other. And as I have told you, if we do not connect the tip correctly, this tip recognition error will come up, which is the most typical one, 000. And if the device cannot connect the detect the handpiece, there will be error code 001 coming up. So when we see
Steve,
yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I have one question that came from the previous slide.
Okay.
Regarding the error, no RF energy.
Yes.
And you said that we have to check energy after install and checking the tip.
No.
And we have to measure the energy out.
I didn't mean.
This is always a question that I had.
Okay. So when we face an RF,
the question that I had, how we can measure the RF energy, how we can be sure that the system emits correctly the RF energy. This is the question that we have.
Okay. So number 1, when we ship out a virtual machine from our manufacturing site, we always do the quality control, which means that every energy level, every different frequency, we follow the regulation and we see the total output should meet the regulation. That is number 1. And after the shipment, we don't need to do any kind of calibration with the RF output or the user interface screen because it is already fixed in the software. So we don't have to check the RF output after the installation. But the reason why I have put this number 4, no RF energy, is people people who have been using microneedling RF, and also if it is their first time, they can feel the difference with only the needle penetration or needle penetration plus RF output. So if this kind of problem is, how do I say, expected, there's a different method how we can check the RF output, but not only with the machine, we cannot, because there's no measurement inside the machine. It's only automatically seen on the system. So regarding this RF output, I will give you a different presentation after this training. We need a different device called oscilloscope to check the RF output.
So there is a device that we can check. Okay,
Yes.
so we are
Yes.
interested to know about that. So okay,
Yes,
thank you
yes.
very much. And
There's
waiting,
yes, there's an instruction of checking the RF output, and also a different device. So on the instruction I will send you after the training, there will be information. But so far, I would say it's not that necessary. But considering that in Greece, for instance, Vivace, we have more than 50 Vivace in the market, right? 50. So, and since if the customer has been using the Vivace for a sufficient period, sometimes this kind of problem might happen. So it is also recommended to our long-term partners to have this kind of device in their warehouse or their service center to check the RF output. So I'll give you an explanation about that later on.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'll briefly show you the parts of the device. So firstly, it is the LCD panel. So if we see the back side of the machine, there will be a LCD cover. There will be two bolts. So if we unscrew this, we can see the LCD panel backside. And if you see here, as I have told you, we can also find the SD card inserted on the LCD panel. So this SD card is all about the user interface. So if there's anything wrong with the user interface, we have to check the SD card. And when we say checking the SD card means we can also do this remotely. So if there's any problem, I can send you the SD files, and then you can just copy the files into the SD card and reset it on the user interface. Well, which is not likely to happen because we haven't, I would say I have faced approximately 1 or 2 cases about this SD card. Okay, and this is the main device. If we open up the case, it is consisted with 3 cases: backside, left, and right. So if we open the backside, we can see like this, and then we can open left and right, and we can see inside the machine. If we see inside the machine, I would like to give you a brief explanation about what they do. So the bottom part is all about cooling, which we don't have the deep RF right now. So you don't have to consider this right now. But when we install the deep RF handpiece, we have to consider this part because this bottom part does all of everything about the cooling system. It has a water pump. It also has the water tank. It also has the circulation of the water pipe in everything connected to the hand pieces. So everything related to cooling is on the bottom part of the machine. And the upper part is all about the machine itself, the RF output, the user interface power, the machine power, and everything. So and also the main board and everything's are located on the upper part of the device, SMPS also. So if we have a power issue, if we have a main board issue, we always have to check on top of the device. This is the photo of the main board, but there's no, I mean, not big chance for us to check all of these connections, those kind of things, because it is all connected firmly and then sent to our clients. But just in case if we need to replace the cable, or just in case if we need to replace the main board, every cable and also on the main board, the connection, the name of the cable and everything's are written. So we can just match each name. Regardless of it's a replacement, if we just send you a main board, still it will be written on the main board. So we can just match the name and then reconnect the cables to the main board. This is showing a brief instruction how we replace the main board. I already have sent this to Andreas, this troubleshooting file and service manual to Andreas. So whenever this kind of problem happens, you can refer to this. But as you know, mainly if something happens, I always give a new instruction only for that part, like a video and photos all together. So you don't have to worry about this. This is just the parts of each handpiece. Okay, so this was a brief information about the troubleshooting, and as I have emphasized during the troubleshooting, I again want to emphasize that where we attach the tip, we always have to put on the cover on top. That's the main part.
Steve, I would
Yes.
like thank you very much for the presentation. It's very
Yes.
clear. Also, Nikos, my technician, was close to me and he saw everything about the the necessary parts that we have on the system.
Yes.
Are you gonna continue with the clinical presentation?
I'm going to continue about the sales point, the technology, technical part.
Technical part, but yes, okay, because we sent an email to you asking if you have any protocols, any clinical guides.
Yes.
But we haven't received anything about that.
I sent the protocol guides to Andreas. You haven't received it?
The protocols, the clinical protocols?
Yes, the smart RF protocol.
We will ask to. Okay, maybe there was a misunderstanding. Okay, we will check. Okay.
I have copied you because you and Isaac also in the email. So I think maybe a couple of days ago I sent it to Andreas because he was asking. So
I asked through my marketing team person Nikos to send you an email about the protocols. You sent marketing. He told me that you sent the marketing material. He received already the marketing material, but not any protocol. He told me that he didn't receive any clinical protocols. No.
No, I sent it. Just give me 1 minute.
Okay, let's check. I asked them already to double check again and tell us if they have found it. Maybe they missed it. Okay, all right.
Sorry, Leonidas. I just checked the email. I see that Andreas asked me troubleshooting guide, service manual, user manual, and the price of the spare part. I haven't sent him the protocols. After the meeting, I'll send you the protocols.
Yes, please, because we don't have it. We don't have the protocols.
Okay. And as I have mentioned at the beginning, the protocol guide will not be, how do I say, suitable for a training like this. Next time we set up another schedule for training, in your clinic, you will have a cleaning room at your office, right? So and it's better that we do the treatment directly, live demonstration. But I am not going to show you. I will give you the guide, what kind of setting we use, and then where we start, and when we do. Sorry. Okay. So, and when we
Yeah.
do this part, we have to do like this. When we do the cheek part, we have to do like this. When we do the upper eyelid, we have to do like this, something like that. So after this meeting, I would like to set up a training number 2 session, which will be the clinical session training, maybe next week or the other week. And then we can do the clinical trial together. I'll give you the guide.
Yes, it's very important. Yes, to organize a clinical training. Let's
Sure.
after this to check the dates, the availability, and to
Sure.
schedule. Okay.
Okay. So next, what I'm going to share is the technology part of virtual RF. With only smart RF, I want to show the advantage that virtual RF has. Okay, let me share my screen first. 1 minute. Okay. So yes, we all know a little bit everything about virtual RF. Basically, that it is a device with 3 different handpieces, smart, deep, exact. But currently, right now in European market, we only have smart RF. So I will be emphasizing, focusing on smart RF only. Virtual RF is our most advanced microneedling RF device made from CMB, starting from Vivace. And we have 3 different handpieces. And smart RF itself, also, I do believe that you already know that the majority of sales happens in United States for virtual RF. And now these days, we have expanded in many European countries, such as England, Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Netherlands, and now we have made a new contract with France and also Austria very recently. So we also have made a contract with the very famous KOLs in France. I'm not sure whether you know Dr. Matt Stefanelli. Do you know him?
What's the name again? Tell me the name, doctor.
Dr. Matt Stefanelli.
Stefanelli. No, I don't know him.
Not familiar. Okay. So yeah, he is one of a very famous KOL in Paris and also in Dubai. So we will be doing a very aggressive marketing this year for virtual RF in the European region. And this will be definitely helpful for our partners in the European region as well. So yes, the medical CE for the other 2 handpieces, we are expecting a little bit longer than scheduled, but hopefully we can get it within this year. Nothing is settled yet, but for now, we still need to wait for our notified body to give us a clear answer. So these 4 are the main technologies, but smart RF does not have this cooling system. But still, we have this integrated pulse radio frequency system and this minimum depth control system. So I will be focusing on these 2 as our sales points while we compete with the competitors in the market. So this is integrated pulse radio frequency system, which we also call it as sub-pulse system. So traditionally, microneedling RF devices has almost all of them have only one continuous wave, which means that while the needles are penetrated inside the skin, the RF energy comes out continuously. But our virtual RF can control this continuous wave. We can split up to maximum 10 pulses. I'll show you a video of how it can be splitted. And the RF on and off time is calculated automatically depending on the RF duration time we settle. So in the market, I believe there are 2 different manufacturers who can do this kind of sub-pulse system, which The first one is Silphem X. Is Silphem X popular in Greece?
Seaton X is distributing now the latest 2 years from
2 years.
the district. Yes, from in Greece it is distributed. They start creating some sales. They are in the beginning.
Okay.
They don't have so many installations, but they are here now. They are here now, and they try.
Okay, Silphem X, they have 2 options. They either have 1 continuous wave or they have 4 pulses. So they only have these 2 options. But for us, we can do 1 continuous wave. We can do 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 pulses. So depending on which target layer we are doing for the treatment, we can choose different pulses. The other competitor is Potenza. Is Potenza also in Greece?
Potenza, I think that they are also here. I think that yes, Potenza also they are here, but not so. They're not so active. They're not so active. Yes.
Okay, because I think Potenza.
You know, those 2 companies came the last years.
Last year.
Last year here, so they are new. So,
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Potenza, they can control the depth. I mean, the pulse from 1 continuous wave to up to 5 splitted waves. So their maximum pulses is 5, which means that virtual RF we can divide the pulse much detailed way, much more variety on our side. So I'll give you the explanation about the advantage of this sub-pulse system. So we do understand that sub-pulse means that we can divide the continuous wave up to 10 separate times. So if we see this video, so this is 1 continuous wave. So when the LED is flashing, it means that the RF energy is coming out. This one is 5 pulse. We can see that the LED is flashing 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the RF duration was same as the 1 continuous wave, but within the same duration, it split up the pulses to 5. This one is 10. So same 800 millisecond duration, it divides the pulse into 10 splitted waves. Okay, so what makes the difference with this sub-pulse is explained with these 2 different histology photo. So the left side is 1 continuous wave, and the right photo is 10 sub-pulses. So if you see the left one first, the continuous wave, we can see a strong coagulation zone generated close to the needles. Because imagine, if the RF energy is coming out continuously during the same duration, the RF energy will be more gathered close to the needle, more stronger around the needle. That is why a coagulation zone is generated close to the needle. Of course, between the needle, since this is bipolar, we will have a regeneration zone. But if we see the right photo, while we put on the sub-pulse mode as 10, we can see almost none coagulation zone near the needle. But between the needles, we can see that the regeneration zone, which means that the RF energy has been delivered much more deeply and widely inside. So we can see that the fat cells are also reactivated. We can also see that the tissue coagulation is happening deeper inside, close to the SMUS layer. So this makes the difference.
Just a question, Steve, sorry to interrupt you. This is Isaac. This histology has been made with insulated or non-insulated?
This are made with non-insulated. So the difference comes
Non-insulated.
with insulated, non-insulated difference. I will be explaining you on the back.
Okay.
But this histology photo is just made with non-insulated because, as you can see, there's a coagulation zone generated starting from the epidermis layer, which means that we have used non-insulated tips. So depending on which kind of tissue reaction we want to generate, we choose one continuous wave or multiple pulses. So the most frequent and typical indication we can apply on this continuous wave, well, we want to make a coagulation zone closer to the needle, is basically when we do a superficial layer target treatment, such as acne scars, melasma, flushing, rosacea, those kind of indication. And also pore tightening, skin texture, and those kind of things. The main indication that we use multiple pulses is, as I have told you, we can deliver the RF energy much deeper and wider inside, which means if we want to do a lifting effect, we can choose this multiple pulses, as many as possible.
So that means we can say, according to our privileged knowledge that we have with the Vivace,
Yes.
that the blue tip, we use it usually with the micropulses technology.
Yes.
Because usually this is the tip that is recommended for skin tightening and etc.
Correct.
And the red and the the red tip, usually we use it in one shot with one pulse. Correct?
Correct. But it's not always like that. We can make a huge variety. We can twist different things. I'll give you an explanation about that. So let's say, for instance, learning from Vivace, we use blue tips and using 1 megahertz and then target deep mid layer to do the lifting effect normally, right? So this virtual RF, same. We use blue tip, which is insulated. We choose 1 megahertz, and then for Vivace, our maximum level we have used for lifting was, I think, level 5 or 6. And the
5 or 6.
Yes, 5 or 6. And the duration time, 300 millisecond, or sometimes 400 millisecond. But still, 300, 400 millisecond is still too strong sometimes in very cheek area or forehead area. But for this one, virtual RF, still same settings, but we can longer the RF duration time to 600 millisecond or 800 millisecond. But we can divide the pulses in a multiple pulse mode, let's say pulse mode 6 or 7. In this case, we can deliver a strong energy in a very safe way. Which safe way means that there's less side effect, plus the discomfort. When we do a strong energy output on our patient will feel definitely a little bit of pain and discomfort. But when we use this sub-pulse mode, it does not affect the total output in a dramatical drop. It is similar level, but the comfort of the treatment, the needle penetration, the RF output is very relieved. So we can deliver very high energy by using this sub-pulse mode. So combining these all together, we can say the sub-pulse mode has mainly two advantage. Number one is we can deliver the energy deeper inside or wider inside. Number two is we can deliver a very high energy in a very safe way, not giving discomfort to the patient. These two are the main advantage of this sub-pulse mode. These are the same histology photo. Right side is a continuous wave. We can see a coagulation zone strongly generated close to the epidermis layer where the needles were penetrated inside. this right photo, you can see that there are no coagulation zone generated on the needle side, but much more deeper inside the tissue reaction is happening over there. So we also have a clinical study of VirtuRF showing the result of this low energy travels much more longer inside our skin dermis. In other words, if we do sub-pulse mode, the RF energy tends to maintain longer inside our skin dermis. This makes also a difference when we want to do a face contouring, body contouring kind of indications, because if we do a continuous wave with a strong energy, it generates a coagulation zone close to the needle. So that one means that if we want to target a indication that we can see visibly on our skin surface, it's better to use continuous wave. But if we want to use a sub-pulse mode with a high energy, but splitting that into multiple pulses, it means that the energy will be traveling inside our dermis. Even after the treatment, it will be lasting longer inside. So the tissue reaction, even close to the SMAS layer, deep layer, it will be happening. That is the main advantage of the sub-pulse mode. So coming from this theoretical evidence, Smart RF, the maximum depth is same as VivaChat, 3.5 millimeters. But still, if we use sub-pulse mode, multiple pulses, if VivaChat could reach only about, let's say, 4.0 millimeter layer, this one, we can reach more than 5.0, something like that, because we have this sub-pulse mode. Cooling, we don't have it right now, so I'll skip it. This one is about cooling, but I also want to explain you about the sub-pulse together. So as I have told you, traditional microneedling has only one continuous wave. So let's say if we choose level 5, 500 millisecond, it's approximately 40 joules per shot. And the pain level is, if we say the pain is 10 is maximum, the pain level is 8 to 9, which is very high pain level, discomfort. But if, so in order to reduce the pain, if we lower down the energy level, just one level down, the total energy will come down to half. It will drop to 20 joules, which means that we cannot deliver the RF sufficient output into the skin dermis. This is the difference between level 5 and 4. But of course, yes, since the energy is dropped down dramatically, we can feel less pain for sure. But VirtuRF, since we have the sub-pulse system, even same level 5, but if we just split the pulse into 2, only 2, not 10, only 2, the total energy output per shot only drops 10%, 36 joule, which means that we still can deliver sufficient RF output. But we can see that the pain level has been dropped dramatically as we have used just level 1 down, something like that. So based on this experience of our clients and our patients, we can see that this sub-pulse system helps us to deliver sufficient RF output into the skin dermis without giving discomfort to the patient. This is the main idea of this sub-pulse system. Well, of course, in the future, if we have this cooling system together, we can even lower down the pain much more dramatically. Okay, so yes, currently right now for the Smart RF, we have 2 frequencies, just like VivaChat. So when we do a lifting effect, it is better that we use 1 megahertz. And when we do upper layer target, it is better that we use 2 megahertz. And this one is the last technology that we feature, which we call minimum depth control system. We can control the needle depth starting from 0.1. Depending on the handpiece, it could be maximum 6.0, 5.0. For the smart handpiece itself, 0.1 to 3.5. And why 0.1 is important is that the other competitors cannot do this kind of minor depths. Of course, we do not choose 0.1 when we do a facial treatment or body treatment. It is too low. But we can start different, much more minor depths. Let's say, for instance, 0.3, 0.4 by using this minimal depth control system. And also, when we treat melasma, it is very efficient for us to target a very superficial layer, which starts from 0.3 millimeters. And I'm going to give you a theoretical evidence a little bit later on. So by using this minimal depth control system, we can choose the depth starting from a very low depth up to 3.5. And of course, the increment level is 0.1 millimeters. Morpheus, for instance, in the market, which is the biggest competitor around the world, they can control the depths only, the increment level of them is 1.0. So they either can choose only 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, something like that. But for Virtue and Vivace, we can choose very detailed way with the needle depths. And for Morpheus also, again, if they want to target depths lower than 1.0 millimeters, they only have a fixed tip, which the depth is 0.5. So they cannot do 0.3, they cannot do 0.7, 0.8, something like that. But for us, we can do 0.7, 0.8. So when we do upper eyelid lifting, when we do our lip elasticity, we can defer this minor depths and then do different treatments. We all know about this drug delivery system. Is exosome also popular in Greece these days?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Everywhere, I think. It's a global trend right now. And so far, a lot of doctors, not only microneedling RF doctors, but also exosome doctors, booster doctors, when I hear the lecture and those kind of thing in international congresses, they say that the microneedling RF is the most efficient way to deliver the drugs into our skin dermis and generate the skin reaction tissue. Okay, so smart RF, briefly, in conclusion, we can choose the needle depth starting from 0.1 to 3.5, and we can choose different multiple pulses in order to deliver the RF energy close to the upper layer, close to the needle, or very deeply inside. And of course, just like Vivace, we use the same needle control technology. Is very painless, even without the cooling system. It is very soft and it's very comfortable for the patient. And we do have two different tips, which is insulated and non-insulated. So we all understand that when we use insulated, we make a coagulation zone inside the dermis without affecting the epidermis. And when we use the non-insulated tips, since the needle itself, the whole needle comes out with the RF energy, so our coagulation zone is generated starting from the epidermis, where the needles are inserted. So yes, these two are similar to Vivace. So coming back to, sorry. 1 minute.
Steve, just a question, please. You are recording this, right? Are you going to send it again to us?
Oh, yes, I'm recording. I will send it to
Steve. This is Isaac.
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, yes, I am recording.
Okay,
I will
thank you.
send the video later after the
Yes,
training.
yes, just wanted to be sure that
Yes,
you will send it to us.
of
Okay.
course, of course.
Thank
It is
you, Steve.
automatically saved. So, okay, well, 1 minute, 1 minute. I want to show the comparison. This one also. I believe that Greece is also has a very sunny weather, so melasma is also a very famous, popular indication for treatment, is it?
Yes, it is. It is a popular indication.
Okay.
Yes, popular.
Okay. Very good, because we are very good in melasma. We do have a scientific evidence of treating melasma as well. So, well, all these theoretical things, if we summarize it, it means that our body protects us from the UV, from the sun. So that is how melasma is generated. And the main particle that we call it is melanocyte and then melanosomes. And these melanosomes are covered with a cell, which we call it membrane. And according to the scientific studies, clinical studies, we found out that more than 1 megahertz can go through the membrane efficiently, which means if we use higher frequency than 1 megahertz, it's even better to go through the membrane. Go through the membrane means it doesn't mean that it bypasses the membrane. It means that it goes into the membrane and then make a stimulation inside, and then make the membrane, how do I say, we could just consider this as we break the cell, we break the cell wall, we destroy the cell wall so that the melanocyte can be gone away. This is scientific evidence number 1. And also we have these 3 different clinical studies showing that multiple pulses is much more efficient to target this melanosomes membrane. So it shows the difference. This clinical paper shows the difference of 1 continuous wave and 2 pulses on the same duration. The melanosomes membrane are destroyed much faster. So our macrophage in our body, takes those unformed melanosomes membrane out to our body, so the melasma are gone. That is the main idea of treating melasma. So combining these all together, we have subpulse system, we have 2 megahertz, and we have non-insulated tips. So when we do melasma treatment, we use non-insulated tips. We choose multiple pulses. Multiple pulses means it's better that when we use maximum pulses. So 10 pulses and level 3 to 4. Then we start from a deep layer, like 1.0 millimeters, and then we shorten the depths to 0.3 millimeters, where mostly the melanosomes are located. And in this way, we can treat the melasma very, very efficiently. These are some photos of melasmas before and afters. Not only melasma, this technology can be done for pigmentation and other indications as well. Okay. With smart RF, it is not only for face. We also can do it for body. And when we do a clinical trial on our second training, it will be better that we do face and then a small part of the body together, because I want to share all those protocols. Of course, deep RF, deep handpiece is much better to target deep, strong energy for mainly body contouring. But still with smart RF, we do a lot of body contouring. We do a lot of body tightening, buttocks, abdominals, and those kind of areas as well. Lastly, I will show you the comparison table. Okay, so this is the comparison table. Well, of course, virtual RF here is consisted with 3 handpieces, but just considering that we only have smart RF only, still we can compare and compete with the biggest competitors in the market. So firstly, this, if you see the M is Morpheus 8. Morpheus 8, I believe it is also very aggressively doing the marketing in Greece market. Morpheus 8, they only have 1 megahertz. They only have insulated tips. So in other words, they don't have 2 megahertz, they don't have non-insulated tips, which means that if they want to target upper layer, if they want to do superficial treatment, they cannot. It's not appropriate for them. And most importantly, Morpheus 8, the needle movement is very aggressive because they use solenoid motor type. It's like a staple gun. Virtual RF, on the other hand, we use step motor. The movement is very gentle, mild, soft. It's always consistent. We always target the same layers. And number 2, we have 2 different frequency with smart RF, 1 megahertz, 2 megahertz. We can do lifting effect, strong energy with 1 megahertz. We can do superficial layer, very high density with 2 megahertz. And also, we have insulated, non-insulated tips. So depending on which layer we target, which kind of energy we want to use, we can choose between insulated and non-insulated tips. But Morpheus 8, they cannot. And most importantly, Morpheus 8, as I have told you, their needle control is like 1.0 millimeter increment level, which is they can't do a detailed control on the needles. Cellform X, you said that they have entered the market about a year ago, 2 years for now. It's the opposite from Morpheus 8. They only have 2 megahertz, and then they only have non-insulated tips. So in other words, they cannot do 1 minute.
Να το πείτε να μας δει αυτό την μας έδειξε για το πέρασμα.
Θα κάνουμε κλινικό, θα κάνουμε κλινικό.
Όχι, να μας δει αυτό το στάδιο που μας έδειξε.
Θα κάνουμε δεύτερο κλινικό training, θα μας τα πει όλα αναλυτικά.
Ναι, απλά για να το γνωρίσουμε, γιατί θα είναι πολύ ενδιαφέρον.
Okay, sorry. Let me continue.
Yes.
Yes. So as I told you, Cellform is the opposite from Morpheus 8. They only have 2 megahertz and only non-insulated tips, which means they don't have strong energy with 1 megahertz. They cannot target a deep layer with strong energy because they only have non-insulated tips. They will always have a risk of hyperpigmentation by using non-insulated tips. So these are the main difference and comparison with our competitors. Just for your information, this G is Genius from Lutronic, and P is Potenza from Cynosure. But I believe you know that Lutronic has merged with Cynosure recently. So what the market is saying that either one of them will be disappeared in the market. That is what I have heard from person who is working for Lutronic at this moment. Anyway, this is just a brief information. Okay, so far, is there any other questions, inquiries?
First of all, thank you very much, Steve, for this very nice and beautiful presentation.
Yeah.
It's worth to have it and to enhance our knowledge also with the competitors. And please, if it is possible, it's good for us to have, though, if you can send us those clinical studies for melasma,
Yes.
please send that to us in order to study and in order for us then to explain to doctors during our presentations how important it is and how to using the virtual RF also for this treatment. For this
Yes,
kind of treatment.
I can. But one thing I would like to point out is for melasma indication, the clinical study done with virtual RF is still on progress, but we do have different other clinical studies showing the effectiveness of multiple pulses, 2 megahertz, and those kind of things, which is not actually done by virtual RF, but the theoretical part is same. Yes, I can
Yes,
share.
it's okay for us. It's okay for us. We don't. Yes, it's okay for us. It's just to study and our sales team to have a knowledge in order to explain to doctors about the treatment of melasma in general.
Sure. Of course,
Yes.
of course. Okay.
Okay. So we are. I don't know. I don't have any other question. I don't know if someone else have a question. It was very clear what you said to us. And okay, let's check if we can have also another meeting to have the clinical training.
Yes, like real trial, like actual trial. I'll give you the guides. And of course, after the training today, I will share the recorded video. I will share the protocol guide, the parameters for Smart RF. Also, I will share the clinical study of melasma, not done by Virtue, but the other clinical data, evidence. And with the protocol guide I have provided, please do let your clinical team understand and have a look on the protocol in advance prior to our second training. And then when we do the second training with an actual model, we can do the treatment on the face and a little part of the body. And I would like to give you an idea, understanding the difference of two different frequency, understanding the sub-pulse system, understanding insulated and non-insulated tips, and those kind of things together.
Okay, Steve.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time and for everything.
Yes.
Let's hope that we're gonna create a lot of sales now.
Yes, I hope so. So I will be here 24/7 to support you. So if you have any inquiries, if you need anything, just let me know.
Okay, Steve. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Leonidas. Thank you very much, Isaac. Thank you all. I'll be meeting you soon.
Okay. Okay, dear. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.